One. Okay.
Hey guys, it's Uzette, and I'm so excited to be here today. I am, well, like many of you, self-quarantine. So we are trying to get out there, and I am proud to have a guest on today. Her name is Julie Dart. She is an author of children's books, and I met Julie maybe 7 years ago, and she's just a wonderful person with so many stories to share to children. And also, I find reading these books as an adult, it's very fitting as well. So, author,
Hi, thank you.
Julie.
I just love seeing you again. I just feel like we should just do this once a week. I think people just want to see your face, and hear your voice and things. Well, thank you, Uzette. Yeah, it's about like 7 years ago. And Uzette's always been really good at helping me promote things and giving me really good ideas, because she knows that I think it's safe to say we're both Bay Area proud, right? We love our community, and that's why I was so drawn to working with Uzette. Your name sounds so formal, I'll Uzi. And yeah, so when I started writing my books in downtown Campbell, she's the first person I started reaching out to. Yeah, we started from there. It's been pretty exciting so far. So it's only fits that you and I are now working together still on promoting these for kids at this time. And I just wanted to say why we're doing this. We know a lot of people are teachers are working now doing this distance learning. And I myself was a teacher before, mother of two. I wrote these books in downtown Campbell, so talk about being Bay Area proud. And that's how the books came about. But I've always worked with teachers and things like that. And when I started first touring with my book, I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. I can now make this into a living. And then when I went to schools, half the kids would be able to buy a book and the others wouldn't. And you know me, girl, I was like, there's a need there. These kids were crying. They're so sad. And let me just back up. When I was a parent and my kids had like scholastic book fairs, if I saw kids that were not getting a book, I would be like, come over here and pick one out. They'd be like, oh no, it's okay, Miss Julie, we don't need a book. And I was like, you either pick one out or I'm going to buy you one. And still till this day, I ran into a girl 2 years ago and she said, you know what I remember from you, Miss Julie? I remember you bought me a book. And it's not just giving a book, it's showing that you care. And so when we started touring, we found out that all these kids from here to, I want to say all the way to King City, never even owned a book, or their parents never took them to the library because both parents were working or whatever the situation was. My heart was broken. So I would do these GoFundMe pages and raise money. So we have donated over 500 books to children in need. And I'm so happy to talk about that too, just because at this time when everybody's getting together as a community, it's a long story, so we can talk about that another time, but I ended up self-publishing my books because no one picked them up, which is a blessing for me because I get to design them the way that I want to. I get to use that. You would love this. I get to include kids' names in a book. So while I was creating my books, I was coming up with, like, I would read The Night the Moon Was Hiding, or we'll talk about the titles of the books later in a minute. But then I was thinking, ooh, for my book, The Adventures of Jimmy and His Red Jacket, here's this boy, Gavin, who's being bullied. I'm going to put him in my book. And then he was the one in my book who stood up for the kids. So it was really good to, I just found that it wasn't just writing a book, it was empowering kids. And I thought that's what I love to do anyway. So I was able to include some kids' names or their ideas in my book. And I just wanted to put that out there too, because I'm going to keep writing. And so we'll mention that a little bit later, just how I want to keep working with the teachers and things like that, which I've always done and gone in, and anything that teachers need, if they need a book, an idea to put something with my book that helps them fulfill their curriculum, I've been able to do that as well, because not only was I a teacher, but I still once a teacher. It's like the mafia. Once you're in,
you can't get out, huh?
No, and bless their hearts. Teachers are the community of teachers is amazing. I mean, you don't mess with that on Instagram, and you see it, it's like, I need these. Does anybody know where I get? And then another teacher's like, dollar store, Target, you know what I mean? Oriental Trading Company for $9.90. They're just so, and they're doing it for their students. And so, gosh, I didn't think I was going to talk so much about that, but
well, you have a lot to say. You have a lot to say.
Yeah, they're the big superheroes, I think, especially now. So anyway, that's a little bit of.
Ooh. Maybe your next book, or not your next, maybe down the line, you can do like a book about a superhero teacher or something, how great they are.
I would love that. Yes. Yes. I'm already, the wheels are turning. I'm already thinking about it.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's get right to, I have so many questions for you, but I don't want to interrupt your train of thought because what you're saying is so important. But let's talk about the first book, because I want to know, you had it in your mind for so many years, and you finally put it not just on paper, but in a book. You became an author.
Yeah.
And I want to hold the book up, okay?
Okay. Oh, that's my favorite. It makes me cry. I'm so excited.
So this book is The Night the Moon Was Hiding.
Yes.
It's short. It's sweet. I loved the spelling exercise that came at the end of the book. The illustrations were perfect, because as I was reading the words, I was picturing the family.
Yeah.
And the way I pictured in my head, because I was looking at words first, not the illustrations. And then after I looked at the words, I looked at the illustrations, and I go, oh, that's exactly what I would have imagined they'd look like.
Oh, that's perfect.
The family. Also, I wanted to ask, I don't see, but maybe I'm not seeing it. What age is this group for? Because I feel like it could be for any age.
That actually, you know what, you're right. That's a book that I hope to be something that kids have as a first time book ever, and then carry it through for the rest of their lives. I actually wrote that book with my kids, part of the book actually with my kids, when we could not find a book to read and we couldn't go out to the library. So I said, we can just make up a book. And we just made up The Night the Moon Was Hiding. So a little bit of trivia there, Yuzi. On the cover of the book, that's me. I gave the illustrator a picture of me when I was 36.
Oh, I didn't know it was you.
That's me, girl.
Maybe that's why I thought it was so perfect, because as I'm reading the words, I was thinking of you and what your family would look like. Oh my God, that's so great.
And so that's my daughter and my son and our little dog, Nolan.
Oh my God.
I just gave the illustrator pictures of us.
I totally noticed the dog.
Yeah, I know. We're dog lovers, so, which mine might start barking any second. They're being really good right now, but we're all working from home, so you just do what you can. Yeah, so that book, and it comes with a CD. A lot of people don't know. They can just do a download of MP3, and all this can be found on my website, which we'll announce again later, but it's just author Julie Dart. So you'll be able to find the books, and we have now established read-alongs for each of these books, because we know that people can't get out to a library where they are. I have them here local and Campbell, but the libraries aren't open at this time. Bookstores aren't open. So right now on Amazon, you can find the physical book, or you can just go to my author page and do the read-along. We just want to get these out there. Oh, look how cute, so that kids have something to read. And they are so colorful and things like that too. Yeah. Oh, I love the spelling words in the back. And that's been something.
Oh, let me think. Yeah. There's all these spelling words. Let me see if I can do this correctly.
Yeah. I love that. And those are the words that are in the book. So kids here, they need to be read to constantly, and then they need to practice writing the words. And that's the teacher in me. We're like, we'll just put that in there. And that's exactly
also,
what that is.
I love all the space involved, because you also made room not only for them to spell and fill in the blanks, but also for them to draw too. they can draw the moon, they can draw the sky, like they can make their own. You can be starting future authors yourself by
Oh,
having the space created for them.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And just a tidbit of more trivia is I'm dyslexic. So when I go to schools, I tell children I am
Wow.
dyslexic, and I never thought I could be an author. And so to edit my own books, I cannot do. That one I could. It's simpler, but anything above that, I needed help with the editing, especially. But yeah, the CD is a sing along that goes with it, and it's all the words in the song. So that's also listed on the website. So The Night the Moon Was Hiding comes with the book, but also the MP3 player. And kids, to answer your question, what the age? I think just get this book for your first time readers. I have a friend, her son says again, and they listen to the CD as she's driving. She's like, no offense, but I'm so sick of hearing that CD. My grandson wants to listen to it over and over again.
Yeah.
He goes, the moon, and the kids are so obsessed with the moon, which is why we wrote the book in the first place.
That's
So
sweet. That's
you.
really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You could also be starting future astronomers. Who knows, right?
I know, right? Just anything to get them excited about learning.
Okay, let's talk about your next book.
Okay.
Layla Saves the Day.
Oh, girl, I love this book. I love this book, Uzette. Now,
How
this book.
How did you come up with the idea?
I don't know. I've always had a wild imagination, and I think that's because of my dyslexia. I wasn't able to read so much, so I know I just would go in my mind, and I had this wild imagination about, and people are, and I'm always in all my books, I'm always like for the underdog is the one that ends up saving the day. They're become the hero, right?
Here I come to save the day.
So in Layla Saves the Day, when we go to schools, we actually give the librarian or teacher and kids the yellow cape. We had these made, and so they get to take turns reading the book and wearing the cape, and they write stories about who their heroes are. So see, again, the teachers are implementing this in their curriculum, because it's one thing to read a book, but I just really want to help teachers. So Layla Saves the Day, I came up with that because I've been told before, you'll never go to college because you're dyslexic and you'll have bad grades. And it's about, the story is about a porcupine. She's told she's too small to become a superhero. And she has faith and courage in herself. And with that faith and courage, she becomes the biggest superhero her town's ever seen. And so I just love that. And of course, can you hold that up again, Yuzi?
Yeah, I was gonna pull out the little. Oh, hold on?
Yeah. Look at her cape with the quills going through. I just love that.
Let me pull out. Let me see. This is towards the end, of course, when she saves the day. But see it?
Yeah, and we have the superheroes. Those were things that kids, when I visited the schools again, and I was visiting with The Night the Moon Was Hiding, and I came up with this book. They wanted another superhero. So that the lady with the blue hair, that's Hair Raising Helen, and her hair extends, and she can trap kitties and trees and things like that. Kids absolutely love her. And then we have Stinky Feet Joe, who takes his shoes off, and robbers surrender because the smell's so bad, and Lullaby Leon, who can sing people to sleep with his wonderful voice. So this is all just feedback. Yeah, there's all the superheroes. And then the mayor, it's really important to me that I put in different people that, of ethnicity, and so that we could see, women can be mayors, and they can be, there we go. And men and police can be, men or women, you know what I mean? I just wanted something in there. I get questions a lot. Why did I put animals and people? I don't know. Maybe from watching things like Zootopia, Disney movies. I just always love the idea of that. So that's one of my favorites. And
I'm so glad you brought that up, because one of my comments in my head was, I love the mix of animals and people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like the animals are people too, and no one's distinguishing between the two. We're just all beings on Earth, and it's just lovely to have them combined.
Yeah. Well, that's why I did it. No, I'm just kidding. I did it, but you described it so eloquently. I'm going to say that's why I did it.
Exactly.
Yeah, animals are people too.
Also, I love the grandma references in the book.
Me too.
Grandmas are always not celebrated, but they're such an important part in our lives
So
that
true.
it's interesting that you put it in there. Was your grandma important to you?
She was my grandmother Mary. But the reason why I put Teresa in there is because I wrote, and the reason why it's named Layla is because I was downtown Campbell getting a spray tan from Couture Tan. If anybody knows, she's closed right now, but
Hey.
a little shout out, women owned. Her daughter was in there and not doing well in school, and I said, I'm going to write a book and put your name in there. And so Layla's written. There's a real person named Layla, and her grandmother's name is Teresa. So that's why I put it in there. Again, feedback from real people. I want to show them. I put you in a book. There she is, the superhero of the day. I love it. I love that she had courage to believe in herself. I think that's a message universally that we all need, especially now.
Yeah. And again, back to grandma. I love that her grandma backed her up too.
Yeah. Grandma's like, I'll take you there, girl. We can do this. Yeah.
Exactly. I know. They jumped on the next bus.
I know. She was like, grandma's like on it. You don't mess with grandma.
Okay. Next book.
Yes, please.
You've done so many books. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Oh, and Layla's Speak Today is available in Spanish. That's our first bilingual book. I don't have a copy of that on me, but it's definitely on my website, and I'm so happy that we did that.
Well, really let me ask you this real quick before we move on to the next book. How come that book is in Spanish and not the others? Is it a public thing?
Yeah, just feedback from teachers. One of the teachers said that I think it's Georgia Brown School in, it's like Paso Robles or something. They said we have a bilingual program, and they requested it. And I don't speak Spanish, so I was like, I can't edit this or anything. And so the teachers there helped me translate it. And I want the other books translated too. We just only finished that maybe 3 months ago, but it's like all my books are fulfilling a community need in some way. I feel like that just represents me going back to that. And if teachers want something, I'll include it. And that just shows that was a follow-up request from my teacher.
It'd be so amazing if all your books can be in many languages. Obviously that costs a lot of money. You need some backing. And if anyone out there wants to do some backing, do some donation, give out your website again.
Okay. It's author Julie. Oh, I got so excited. What is it? It's author Julie Dart. So it's a www.authorjuliedart.com. And all my contact information is there, all the social media. My web designer, Greg Norman's amazing and has helped me over the years.
All right. Next book.
Yes.
Ellie Stands Up to the Bully.
Yes. So this book I came up with, actually before The Night the Moon Was Hiding, I had this idea. I was taking Bart up to San Francisco. I was a recruiter, and I was pregnant with my son, and I had just dropped off my daughter. And the reason I'm describing that to you is because I was so tired I was falling asleep, as one does when they're 6 months pregnant. And so I thought I better start writing something, and looking at my work page was like making me exhausted. So I just took out a note, and I just started writing about this elephant that was bullied, because I started to think, gosh, my kids are going to get older. I hope they aren't bullied like to the point that I was so severely bullied in middle school that I left for 3 months and did not come back. I had to seek medical attention just to deal with all of the anxiety. It was really horrible. And at that time, we didn't know as much about it, but unfortunately, I feel like we haven't made it as nearly as enough progress as we should. But back to this, I started thinking about my kids' future, and I thought, I'm just going to write a story for them of a girl that stands up to her bully, and include in there, if you can make it fun, in a fun way that Ellie deals with it and stands up for herself. Here's the thing. That book, I was sitting at the counter at Stax and Campbell, and that book wasn't coming about. I couldn't find a publisher. Sitting out the counter, I had the manager and the owner's son come over, and they said, we heard you're not able to get your book published. And I said, no, I'm not. And so they said, here's the money to go publish your book, go publish it. So if you open up the front, that's sponsored by Stax.
Yep.
And so
hold on, let me find the
also talk about community. That's how that came about.
Let me see here. Hold on.
Somewhere on the front page.
The first page.
Hold on. Be in the back. On the very back. Yep. And then on the very back, I think it shows their logo. Yeah. So that's one of my favorites. And guess who we have with you? She wanted to come meet you today. Guess who we actually have?
Oh, Ellie! Oh my gosh. Reviewsies. I love her so much.
And the kids talk to her. They'll see me. I mean, obviously this is a puppet. Receptionists, staff, when I go into schools, they talk to her. They love her. They want to give her a hug. And talk about feedback. So many kids have wanted her to be a stuffed animal, that's my big dream. My children, then I can hug all the children all over the world. So cute. And she's like really tall. She's like a full-on toddler.
I love it. I love her. Hey, also in your book, at the back, you give a lot of recipe stuff that kids can enjoy.
Right. And that was feedback again from the teachers and the parents. They were saying, gosh, your kids eat so healthy. How do you do that? And I said, let's incorporate the characters and their favorite recipes. So those are the recipes I had for my picky eaters at home, and just suggestions for friends. But some feedback that we got also is that boys love Ellie too, but they wanted a character. So I was at Castlemont Elementary School, and they said, can you also make Roger? And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we made Roger. I'm great. And I have glasses. Hey, Yuzi.
Hi, Roger.
Roger, where'd you go?
I got shy.
Oh,
so
my
he goes,
goodness.
no. And we visit schools all the time, and we make kids feel comfortable. And I'll put things in his shell, and I'll be like, Roger, you didn't clean this out. And I'll have like a dirty sock and a ball or something. And he's like,
I didn't know we were coming to the school today. I would have cleaned my shell.
So kids really love him. Yeah. All right, Roger. Thank you.
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
So I do Zoom with teachers for teachers if they want, and I include the puppets. So that's another service we're offering at this time too.
I like how you said earlier that right now we're dealing with distance learning. That's such a great way to put it. And if people want you, again, I'm going to keep asking you, what's your website? How can people contact you?
So it's www, is that 3 W's, authorjuliedart.com. And you can just, my email address is on there, but I'll give it to you. It's juliedart@comcast.net. And you can just tell me the age of your school and which book you're interested in. And I have Ellie and Roger make messages for kids all the time. At the beginning, the kids were sad. And so we talked about how being sad, Ellie put a mask on and things like that, and did a shout out to Castlemont Schools. We also did some happy birthday announcements for kids, basically anything that we can to help raise their spirits at this time. There's a Castlemont song that we learned. So if you guys have a song that you're singing in school, Ellie doesn't have the best voice, and neither do I. Wink, wink. But we'll help. And I mean, I'm willing to do anything. I'll stand on my head to help teachers. So just reach out to me. Don't be afraid to ask. Right now, I'm not charging a fee for this. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I would just, at least for the end of May, I would just like to have this be offered so that I can show support for our community.
Very good. All right,
Yeah.
Let's move on to your most recent book, I believe. And
Yeah.
I love all your books, but this one is my favorite. And I've read it, but honestly, I'm going to go back and read it again, because when I was done with it, well, I couldn't put it down really, but when I was done with it, not only did I feel like you left me hanging, girl,
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I was like, and then what happened?
What
But
happened to Jimmy?
yeah, exactly. What? But it just wonderfully written.
Thank
This,
you. I'm
this
so
is the adventures of Jimmy and his red jacket.
woohoo! And this is so cute because one of the kids said, is there any way that you can make that book? So when we go to read Layla Saves the Day, we give a cape. Use that, check this out.
Oh my God, I love it.
So can you hold up the book and I'll show
Yeah.
them? You guys, we created the jacket. My wonderful sister-in-law put the 5 on the back. And then I just found these. I cannot believe I found these on Amazon. So we auction these off. I'll do an autograph signing of the book, and then we give people the red jacket, especially if they're having challenges. I want to help these kids. This is the book where Jimmy starts off middle school. So about age range, I would say anything 3, 4, and 5. Oh, and back to Ellie. She's second grade. So I think first, second graders really like her, but I've had 3 and 4th graders. You know what I mean? If they love books, it's going to be any age, but this is really good. It's a chapter book. And what Yuzi said is right. This is part 1, but we have part 2 coming up, and we put a little teaser in from part 2 so that it could be like a little hook for people. So there you go. Yeah. And this book was written in downtown Campbell based on the actual places in downtown Campbell. So perhaps Yuzi, you and I can get together a little bit later once I put that together, because we're going to be doing a virtual scavenger hunt for people out of the area. And then for people locally, this is going to be a place where they can actually go practicing, what is it called? Distance shopping. You can call ahead to some of these places. The first one, just hint, is a donut shop. Because at the beginning of the book, Jimmy starts school. His mom has passed away, I think 2 years before. He's starting middle school, and he's just really nervous. His best friend has moved away, and he's not that outgoing. So again, I wrote all my books to fill a need. This book I wrote because when my son was little, who's like 21, 22 now, I can't remember how old he is. He's going to hate this. I hope he doesn't watch it. I have quarantine brain, just like with dates. But when he was in middle school, we went to the library, we went to Barnes and Noble, and he said, gosh, I want a book that's not about zombies and all these. I want a book that's like Stand By Me or Harry Potter. And then I was like, well, let's write this book together. So we came up with the book together. And then of course he got busy with sports and everything. And then I started writing it about maybe 5 years ago. So The Adventures of Jimmy and His Red Jacket, he's starting off middle school, and I wanted to dress for once, with boys, but it has girls in there too, middle school issues and how do kids deal with that. And so feedback from Castlemont and Monroe Middle School, they were the ones who said, let's have a principal in it named Mr. Greenie. He wears green all the time, but different ties. So all the names there are feedback from kids. And that's what I want to get people excited.
I wore green today just for Mr. Greenie.
Oh, there we go. I love it. I know you look so cute today. So cute. And so I think that's about, and then all the books are interrelated. And so The Night the Moon Was Hiding, the mom is reading The Adventures of Jimmy and His Red Jacket to them.
I know. I saw that.
So that's really cute. In The Adventures of Jimmy and His Red Jacket, his favorite books are The Night the Moon Was Hiding and Layla Saves the Day. So I thought that was really cute.
That is so cute. I actually did notice it, and I wondered, is she just trying to promote one book to the next? But
the thing is in The Night the Moon Was Hiding.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. We're all woo. There's Lacey.
There's the other one.
We're all just working from home, doing what we need to do, right? In Layla Saves the Day. Oh no, in The Night the Moon Was Hiding, Ellie is in there too. Yeah, Ellie is in there in the kids' room in a rocking chair. And the reason I came up with that is because the feedback from the kids, they said, we love watching Disney shows where they have like Monsters Inc. has little Finding Nemo in there. So they like all those little hidden secrets that are in the other books. Do you know what I mean? And it was my hope that kids can actually grow up with this. They read The Night the Moon Was Hiding, and then they go off to read Layla Saves the Day. And then they read Ellie Stands Up to the Bully. When Ellie is bullied and she fakes having the measles because she wants to stay home, and her mom finds out, she has a bath and gets rid of all her measles. She goes, gets ready for bed, and she grabs her favorite book, The Adventures of Jimmy and His Red Jacket. So they're all really interconnected, just because that's how my mind works. And the feedback from the kids, it's like these little hidden secrets in another book, you know?
It's actually a really good, whether it was intentional or not, it's a really great marketing plan. You know?
I know, I didn't think of it that way because I'm not cheesy. I wouldn't be like, here's a book and your free set of Ginsu knives. I've always been like, I know, it seems like the kids, you know, when you work with kids, they're very creative and they're the ones who have these ideas. So I always think, gosh, you know, it's going back to these schools and showing them that we did, and you know, we did make Ellie, and from their vote we did make Roger as a puppet. And what do they want the next character to be named, or do they have other ideas? And a lot of the kids were saying, like, we want girls who are good at sports and math, and we want boys who like to do art and sing. We want characters like that. And I said, yeah, let's incorporate that. Let's make it okay for that to be something that's accepted, because that happens. And I love that kids are being open, and thank God to their parents now educating again, back to teachers, just for and creating an environment where kids are feeling like they can be themselves. I really think that's amazing.
I like the transcending of your topics and just what you're saying in terms of stereotypical stuff. Like, you're just transcending all those types. And that's really important these days. It's important to have an open mind and open thoughts, and for everybody to just act like a community. We're all different. Let's face it. We're all different. But if we can come together, that would be great.
And that's, speaking of that, don't you, during this time right now, I was so concerned about the quarantine and, you know, all of this happening, but I've never seen all walks of life in communities coming together. Somebody needs a mask, they go get it. Someone's posting that they have anxiety to shop. The neighbors get together and they go shopping. Someone can't pay their rent, as you helped with all of that. Thanks, Uzette. Then people get together and they help that person. I have never seen all walks of life getting together and helping people as a community. And again, it just, I always say to my kids, and when I go to schools and talk to all the students, is I believe that there are more good people out there than bad. And I'm seeing that right now. I have never seen, I'm so Bay Area proud right now. Can you imagine all the work everybody's doing? It's just fabulous.
It is. And actually that gives me chills when you talk about it. You never realize how strong people are or resilient they are until a tragedy strikes. And that's what we're going through. Maybe that's not the right word, tragedy, but certainly a difficult situation.
Very difficult. But seeing everybody come together as a community and just shows us how strong we are. And who knows where it's all going to go. But I wanted to get together with you today and offer something fun for teachers and just let them know we're here for you. For every book that Uzette held up, The Night the Moon Was Hiding, Layla Saves the Day, Ellie Stands Up to the Bully, and The Adventures of Jimmy and His Red Jacket, we have read-alongs for all of those. So if you're looking for reading materials and you can't get out there, these are the books to have. And I have something in the curriculum that fulfills the curriculum requirement for each of these. So that's just something that we've done too. Again, just networking with teachers and just really wanting to help. As teachers, this was thrown on their laps. Nobody's training teachers, you know what I mean? So I thought, let's get together and again, fulfill a need and have fun with it. I love working with kids. I have other passions too, but my passion of passions, and I feel that this is just something that my life purpose is to help kids feel special. And I feel like through the puppets in the books and the feedback of getting their ideas and incorporate that in another book, I feel like that's what I'm able to do. So I'm just in heaven. I hope to do this for the rest of my life.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
You're the Bay Area's JK.
Oh, there you go. I'm honored. I'll take that. Yeah, she's my hero. What a
Very
woman.
good.
But that's the
Understood. I'm going to hold up the books. And then, let me put it in different order here. And then, stand by.
Yeah, we're standing by. There we go. Yay, they look great. Yay. Perfect.
And then, once again, you must be tired of me asking, how can
No.
people get a hold of you? How can people get a hold of you?
They can email me, juliedart@comcast.net, or go to my webpage, and then you'll see all the tools that we created for teachers and kids. Make sure you check out the media page. I believe that's where the YouTube channel is for the read-alongs, but it's www.authorjuliedart.com. And I'm excited to get feedback and see how I can help anybody, and to know that people are doing the read-alongs for the kids, because we try to make them as fun as we can. And we're getting really good feedback from the teachers and the students. So,
wow, you're so lovely. You're so smart, and just, you're such a giver. And I think that's why we connected, because
for sure, yeah, we're both about community. I agree. Well, thank you for having me, Uzette, and maybe we could do a follow-up on this again for the virtual tour and the scavenger hunt that we're doing for the Adventures of Jimmy's Red Jacket. We're just tying up some loose ends, so I'd love to work with you again with that.
that would be amazing. Thank you so much. I love you very much. You've been a great
I love
friend
you too.
and just a wonderful human being.
I miss you too. I feel everything that you said right back at you. I miss you so much. I didn't realize it until I saw you there. I wish I could give you a hug. That is the one thing I'm missing. But we'll do our best right now. Thank you for
Self-hug. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And look out, because we're coming back at you with Julie Dart, the author of the Bay Area.
Woohoo! Thanks, Uzi.
Thank you.